guys, welcome back to our channel. So last week fully you've been seeing our love story episodes, and by now you would have got an idea of all the struggles we went through. All that we told in the video was just 10% of our struggles and all the abuse we had to face. We had faced a lot more than that, but like, we don't want to tell everything in the video because you guys can really feel that, right? Like, we know that you can understand us a lot better than what we can tell you. So in this episode we are actually gonna reveal how we planned for our wedding and what were the obstacles we faced during the course of our planning. So first we'll begin with what mindset he had when he came back from sailing ready for the wedding.
So when I came back from sailing, guys, what exactly happened was I kept reassuring her every single day so much that the whole plan was framed in my mind. You can call it like a money heist plan and all that, but I had everything perfectly framed up. So this is what I'll do this day, the first day, second day, third day, fourth day. I had planned for each and every day till we got married.
He kept telling me that he had all the plan in his mind, but I never believed it. I was telling him, you're gonna come back and run to your parents, and again you're gonna cancel everything. I'm not ready to believe you. So this is what I was telling him.
So this time it was very serious. I gave my parents all the chance that I thought I could give. More than this, I cannot do it from my end, guys. And I hope you guys agree with me, or maybe some of you might disagree with me. I know. Because I can't see from their point of view. I did call off the engagement. I did put her through hell, and I have to make up for that. And whether my parents are going to support it or not, I had to do this because the future lies in our hands, right? I mean, it's the marriage part and the life after that. We can't blame our parents for choosing the wrong partner for us. I believe in that. I can't go and tell my parents, no, you guys have destroyed my life. I don't want to be the one who says that. So whatever it is, whatever decision I took, that should be mine. And this till school, college, education and other things, the clothes we wear, everything we let our parents decide. But our partner, I think, should be our choice, and we should live with it. Because otherwise there's no point in telling our parents like you have ruined our life, or it can be right, it can be wrong. Even in arranged marriages, there can be right, can be wrong. People don't exactly show their true colors, right? You can't just go for a engagement and then choose a girl and then okay, pelli choopulu antaru kada. So damtone, I don't think you can just finalize a girl's whole potential or a guy's whole potential and all that. So it might be, a wolf in a sheep's clothing. So I didn't want that to happen. So she's the one whom I know. She's the one who I like.
Actually,
her qualities.
we both were very, very particular that like, we should choose our partner for ourselves. From the very beginning, we were very particular about that, and that was also one of the pushing factors for our love marriage, because we were not very interested in arranged marriage from the very beginning. Both of us were not interested in arranged marriage, like, naturally, that was how we were. So our parents couldn't do anything about it. And having said a lot of things about parents, we all have different kinds of parents, and everything depends on the individual. We can only speak about our situation and like, the decisions that we have made for our life. We cannot tell you guys this is how you have to be, or like, this is how you have to go against your parents. No, that is not we are trying to tell you. You have to decide for yourself like, which is more important and how happy you're going to be with your partner or with your parents. Some people are very happy with their parents. They don't even need a partner in life, or they are very happy with any kind of partner they get. That doesn't really matter to them, but they want to be with their parents. They want to live together. So each one of us have different priorities in life, different expectations, right? So it all depends on that. So we are not at all encouraging anybody to go against your parents and perform a marriage or perform an intercaste marriage for that matter. We are only sharing our experience, so don't get any wrong example from us.
And a lot of you actually make a lot of sacrifices, which are very genuine. Like one of my friends had to, for parents' sake, for grandparents' sake and all that. They come from big families and they have a huge family background. And for that, they had to sacrifice their love and get married to whoever the parents choose, we totally understand that. It's completely acceptable, and the sacrifice you made, as long as you are happy, guys, that's what matters, you know. Your happiness is what matters, because you can make your parents happy, you can make your grandparents happy, but make sure that you guys also are happy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's your happiness that matters, because these days a lot of suicides and other things going on. We really don't want to end up in such a situation, having sacrificed our life for someone else, right? Nobody wants us to die, no matter how much you hurt others. Be happy. Whatever decision you make, don't feel guilty later or don't regret later. It's really going to ruin your life. So coming back to our life, we kind of decided that we are not going to pester our parents in one way or involve them and keep hurting them, because we are not going to accept to anything that they say, right? We are not willing to accept to all the ideas that they give, so why to torture them, like trying to involve them in everything? So we decided, let's not involve them in anything. This is our life, we are matured enough. I think at that time I was almost 24.
You were 23.
I was 23 and you were 25. Yeah, so he was 25. We were not too old, we were not too young. So we were at the right stage to make a decision about our wedding, and we thought that was the right age for us to, you know, have a marriage done so that we can enjoy our life better.
So when I came back from sailing, I straight went to her and I asked her, okay, let's do it now. Any other problems? Anything else you want to be done? Then she was like, you're serious, you're going to run away. Even then she was like completely in disbelief that, you know, I'm going to take it through. Oh, so you want me to invite all my relatives, you want me to invite all my friends now, and then at the last moment you just run away.
I know this guy ran away for the engagement, and you believe that he's going to be there for the wedding.
I was there, I was standing right in front of her and I was asking her, right? I didn't literally run away with someone else or something like that. So I was back and I was fully determined. I told my parents I'm going ahead with it. My dad just said, let us know before you get married, before you can tie the knot. And I was like, I was reluctant, but I didn't answer him. And I just went ahead with it. And I didn't want to involve any of my relatives or my cousins, because it might backfire on them. My parents might, you know, take, oh, you guys were supporting my son, and because of
his parents
you guys,
might start blaming the relatives. All the relatives might mock his parents. It might, you know, be either ways.
So family problems and all that. So I just left out the entire side because of that. I still feel bad because I can't attend their weddings now, because I feel kind of embarrassed that I did not invite them over to my wedding, and that was a big blow. But anyways, life has to go on and we have to all move on. So not wasting any time, I went ahead with this, with our planning.
Immediately we planned for the register marriage. We did not think about anything else, or we didn't think about asking permission from anybody else. He came back from sailing and we, you know, started to plan for our wedding.
I kept my parents completely out of the loop, because if I had to inform them, I was thinking they might, you know, come and try to, you know, do something else to, you know, sabotage or so I didn't want any more hiccups during our journey, and that's why I went ahead with it and kept them out of the loop this time.
Yeah, so during the initial planning phase, we did not let our parents know at all. Like, it was not like a secret, it was not secretive and all that. So we were discussing about the plan, and we were, you know, we thought, okay, let's first set everything and we'll inform our parents at the last minute so that they can just come and attend. So this was our plan. Okay, so as soon as we decided to get married, the first thing that popped in my mind was, my parents can chase me out of the house anytime. So this is the first thing that comes to your mind, like for a girl at least, right? So I told him the first thing we should do is to look for a house and then plan for the wedding. He was like, why to look for the house now? Let's first get married and see the house later. We can get any rented house anywhere. I said, no, I want a backup plan. He has, you know, he does not have the habit of having backup plans at all. He has only one plan and he'll work his best to achieve that plan. But I'm not like that. I always have backup plans because I cannot be sure of anything in life. So I told him, let's first fix the house, at least fix the house. No need to move into the house, at least fix the house, and then we'll plan for wedding.
Then one of my really good friends, really
God-sent friend.
He is such a
How
angel.
did you meet him? Tell that.
Yeah, he was my college mate. We studied together in college, and He's a very famous Tamil musician's grandson also.
And a famous actor's son also. We don't want to mention names.
Okay, so after college, after many years, actually this guy was in a different batch. You know, like a BSc batch is divided into two groups, Group 1 and Group 2. So this guy was in the other batch, so he was not very close, but then he knows Telugu as well. So we used to talk in Telugu sometimes, and you know, languages, birds of the same feather flock together. So this language was always very nice and comforting. So it was very nice talking to him. So suddenly our ships also, you know, two different ships, anywhere it could be in the world, but our ships were like going to the same passage. From Australia, we loaded at the same port and we took the same cargo all the way to China. So that also happened, and then after this we joined a course and we were doing this course together. So I was telling him, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do. And
all this were not planned. Like, they didn't plan to sail next to each other. They didn't plan to join the same course. Everything happened like at the right time. Like, you know, we felt the godly presence for the first time in our life. Like, God is really helping us. We had a feeling like that at that point of time.
That was always I used to tell her. No matter how bad things went, I always told her, like, it all happens for a reason. It all happens for good. And
though all others, you know, say that we had gone against God, I don't think there's anybody in the world who would have felt God's presence with us more than us, you know, like,
we've seen
it's like God is really coming down to help us with his own hands. So it was like that. So this guy, all of a sudden he popped up and he did everything he could to help us with our marriage.
Yeah, and especially the house part. He had a house in Madipakam in Chennai, and it was an apartment, and he gave it for a very cheap rent. And
actually, he had people living there for 13,000 and they had vacated the house. So when Danton was like telling him we are looking for a house, we were not yet married that time. He was just telling him that we are looking for a house and we'll be getting married soon. If I was in his position, I definitely wouldn't have given my house for an unmarried couple. But you know, the minute he said that, that guy was like, come, I have a house which is empty now, the tenants are vacated. You guys just come and have a look at the house, bring your girlfriend also.
so he was very free. So he said, you guys move in first and then we'll talk about the rent and all later. I was like, dude, no, let's get things cleared. We are on a financial budget right now because the whole wedding is planned, reception is planned. So you can't just say that, you have to tell me how much the rent is. He said, don't worry about all that. You guys just move and settle down, man. You'll have a whole life ahead of y'all. Where are you going to go? Where am I going to go?
Yeah, he was so willing to push us into his house. The house was already fitted with the basic things like AC, fans, lights and all that. So that was a plus point for us. So
Yeah,
I remember,
semi-furnished house.
semi-furnished house. I remember the day we visited the house. The house was so good. It was a double bedroom apartment. The kitchen was big. The hall was big. Like, for the both of us, the house was really big enough. And the minute I entered the house, I felt very, what to say, like kind of nervous, and I kept asking him, ask for the rent, ask for the rent, ask the rent amount, ask the rent. That was the only thing going in my mind. And his friend was like, Fatima, look here, look there, do you like the kitchen, do you like the bedroom, do you like the hall, tell me if you need anything else, I can fix it for you, I can attach it. And nothing was getting into my head. I was like, ask for the rent, ask for the rent.
It was a 2-bedroom flat. We only wanted a 1-bedroom flat.
We were actually looking for a 1-bedroom flat, and we thought the budget would be around 1-bedroom flat to go. We thought 7,000 or so. Yeah, 7,000 was our budget, and we had no plans of even looking for a double bedroom flat.
Yeah, so because we didn't have a kid as well, and she's going to go to work, I'm going to go to classes or something like that. I'll go sailing and all that. So we didn't have much to do. So 1-bedroom was good enough for us. But
money was the biggest problem.
yeah. So this guy was a total godsend angel, and I badly want to tell his name out, but
every time
I haven't asked him yet if I could mention his name.
it's okay.
So he's such a sweetheart of a person, and so I started getting the house ready, and in the meantime she was a little bit relaxed because she saw me really working hard towards it.
I know. First of all, I couldn't believe that he got the house ready. So the rent of the house was 13,000. That was the amount the previous tenants were paying. And we were asking this guy, what is the rent amount? What is the rent amount? He was like, how much are you willing to give? How much are you willing to give? And we couldn't say anything because we don't know, right? how can we tell the rent amount? So what, he also didn't say anything, and he took us to his mom, and we got introduced to his mom. She herself is a celebrity, and she also asked us, how much are you willing to give? Just tell me how much you're willing to give. They were not at all bothered about money. Like, you know, they really wanted to help us out. It's not like they didn't need the money. They really wanted to help us out. They also had loans and all that. And we very reluctantly, we said we can pay 9,000 maximum, we cannot pay more than that. And I was pretty sure that, you know, they won't agree to that, and because the house is definitely worth more than 9,000.
And it was semi-furnished.
It was semi-furnished, so we didn't want to move into the house in the first place for such a cheap price. But as soon as we said 9,000, they were like, okay, give us 9,000. Like, they didn't even take a minute to think about it. And he was also smiling, and he was also happy, and his mom was also happy. We could really feel that, you know, they are doing it from their heart. We can never forget. I can never forget this.
Really?
I can never forget this in my lifetime.
Really,
Very,
God bless
very
them. God bless
thankful
their
to
family.
them.
They're so sweet. They were really, really sweet and kind, especially in our lowest of the lowest times, and they really helped us. You know,
Yeah.
They were the stepping stone for us to
Yeah.
actually take off. So after that, what happened was the house was done, and then we had to move ahead, and we started with the registration process. I went submitted the documents. So I shifted all my things into the house, and I did up the house a little bit. Got some basic things which are
Yeah,
necessary
actually
to
the
run
plan
family.
was he will be moving into the house first, and he'll set up the house, and after we get the registration done, I will be moving along with him. So that was the plan, and so as per the plan, he moved into the house.
So I moved into the house. I got some things ready and all that, and basic things which are necessary to start a livelihood. And I started going to my classes also from there. And there's a big list of things to do before the wedding could come, and I was running out of time actually.
The first biggest step, which was actually worrying me, was to fix the house. And since this was in place and he had already moved into the house, I was really, you know, gaining some confidence on him. The next big step is the registration, and there was a, you know, lot of things to read about on the registration process and all that. So we started with that.
And so we'll tell you about the registration process, which is the most important thing, and that
Yeah.
we'll tell you in the next video, guys.
So take care, guys. See you again in another interesting video. This is Fatima signing off.
And
Bye.
this is Danton. Bye, guys.